Right now is Democratic Congressman from California, Brad Sherman. Congressman, thanks so much for coming in. You've joined with so many other Democrats now in backing Kamala Harris for president. She now has, overnight, we know she has enough delegates to secure the nomination. And we've heard from the DNC it's going to be moving forward with this virtual roll call vote, ruling out holding what's described, what's known as an in-person contested convention. Harris has said and has made very clear they want to avoid the appearance of a coronation, which was what we heard a lot in the last 30 plus hours. Is this starting to look something like a coronation?
This is a democratic process. The delegates were selected at the grassroots level. Caucus goers went to the caucus and chose people who would be Biden-Harris delegates. And they did that because Biden-Harris won the individual congressional district. These grassroots delegates are now available to vote, and I think all of them, virtually all of them, have chosen to vote for Harris. Now, the state of Ohio has some bizarre rule that says we need to give them the name of our candidate by August 7th. Ohio has repealed that rule, but they've some quirks as to how they did it. And so we don't want Republicans to keep us off the ballot in Ohio. But this is overwhelming. Every delegate I've talked to, and I've talked to dozens that I think are representative, are all enthusiastic for Harris, and they are elected as part of a democratic process. So I mean, we had an open process. Harris won. And she won because she's superb and because nobody ran against her. And the reason nobody ran against her is because she's superb.
It's definitely going forward in this way. The governor of Ohio, the Republican governor of Ohio, though, did make clear to CNN last week at the convention when we spoke with him that he was not going to let any shenanigans happen in Ohio with that whole thing. Regardless, it's moving forward where it's moving forward. Now we know that the former Attorney General, Eric Holder, is handling Harris's VP vetting process. I want to read for you some of the great reporting from CNN's Jeff Zeleny, which is North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly are among the Democrats who have been asked to submit information about their finances, family histories, and other personal data. Two people familiar with the process say they're part of a group that includes about 10 names, nearly all of whom are elected officials. Congressman, who do you think Harris will be best served as having as running mate to help campaign against Donald Trump?
I've been in this for a long time, and I know not to go with my hunch. You have to have focus groups meet. You have to pay people a little bit, get them to spend 2-3 hours, show them the bios, show them clips of these people speaking, have them discuss it. And these have got to be representative groups of swing voters from swing states. It may cost $1 million or $2 million. It may take a couple of weeks. But the best vice presidential candidate is the one that helps us win. And, of course, that's because these 10, and I don't know all their names, but I know the vast majority of them, are all people who have proven to have the capacity to step in as president. That's the first criteria, but I think that criteria is met by any of the people that Harris is looking at.
Congressman, when you're on, we talk about the latest as relates to Israel and its war against Hamas. Mm-hmm. We know that Netanyahu's in Washington. He's going to be addressing a joint meeting of Congress tomorrow. Kamala Harris has declined to preside over that, which is unusual as VP. Aides say that it's a scheduling conflict. But every appearance that she makes or does not make is a choice and makes a statement now. Do you wish that she would be there tomorrow?
I don't keep her schedule, but I think a few things have happened that would affect her schedule that were unexpected and have come up in the last couple of days, like the fact that she is now going to be running for president instead of vice president.
Totally. I'm just saying you make choices especially in the last 36 hours, you make very specific choices on your schedule.
Everybody makes choices. I don't know what those individual choices are. I do think that it's important, health permitting, that Biden meet with Netanyahu. These are the heads of governments of their countries today. These are allies who have been strong allies since the beginning of Israel in 1948. And what's important from a diplomatic perspective is the meeting with Biden. And I'm glad to see he's back at the White House. I expect he'll be meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
That is the plan. You will be attending the address. I ask only because I think there are dozens of Democrats who will be boycotting.
I have sought to be there whenever a head of state or a head of government from any of our allied countries comes. I hope all my colleagues join us there. And it's not a statement that you agree with this or that particular politician or if I was a citizen of another country, I might vote for the head of their government. I might vote the other way. But as part of the U.S. government, we need to be diplomatic.
Congressman Brad Sherman, thank you. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Sarah?